She is the single most unique figure in China's long history. She is the only woman to ever officially hold the title of emperor. She was not an empress consort, nor a queen regent, but a female emperor, a ruler possessing the absolute, supreme authority. She is Wu Zetian. In a social order rigidly constructed by men, a man becoming emperor is as natural and unchangeable as the sun rising in the east. It is the law, it is the divine natural order. A woman becoming emperor? That was viewed as a horrific violation of the heavens. However, Wu Zetian declared to the world, she herself was the natural order. No throne, no tradition, no mortal judgment could stand above her will. She started her life as a lowly concubine, yet she climbed to the very peak of power over a mountain of corpses, including the bodies of her own children. In history books penned by male scholars, she was demonized as a monster named Wu Zhao, a madwoman who stole the divine artifact of the throne. Even today, over a millennium later, the debate continues. Was she a bloodthirsty tyrant or a savior unfairly smeared by history? Wu Zetian was born in Shaanxi, China, to a timber merchant. Ancient China operated under a strict social hierarchy known as scholars, farmers, artisans, and merchants. At the top were the noble bureaucrats. At the very bottom were the merchants. When she was 12, her father died, and her relatives ruthlessly drove her and her mother out of their home. This traumatic moment defined her character and survival instinct. She understood better than anyone, if a woman doesn't want to be a lamb led to the slaughter, she must become the wolf. In the 7th century, the ruler was Emperor Taizong, revered by the Western regions as the Heavenly Khan. In 637 AD, at the age of 14, Wu Zetian entered his vast harem. She was given the name Mei Niang, charming lady. In a gladiator arena filled with thousands of beautiful women, she was invisible. But she refused to wither away in silence. The emperor possessed a wild horse named Lion Stallion, a beast so violent that no one could tame it. Wu Zetian stepped forward and boldly said, "Your Majesty, I can tame him, but I require 3 things: an iron whip, an iron hammer, and a sharp dagger." The emperor was shocked and asked why. She explained coldly, "First, I will whip him to warn him. If he does not submit, I will use the iron hammer to crush his skull. If he still resists, I will use the dagger to cut his throat." This naked, brutal cruelty disgusted the great emperor. She was cast aside into the forgotten corners of the harem for 12 long years. In 649 AD, Emperor Taizong passed away. According to the strict laws of the Tang Dynasty, any concubine who had not borne children was required to become a nun. The 25-year-old Wu Zetian had her head shaved and was thrown into a temple. A life of blue lamps, ancient Buddhas, and mourning bells. For a woman of her burning ambition, this was a death sentence. So she gambled everything she had on a shocking, forbidden scheme: incest. Long before the old emperor died, Wu had already secretly seduced the crown prince, Li Ji, her husband's biological son. This was a massive moral bombshell. In traditional Confucian culture, a father's woman is ethically equivalent to one's own mother. For a son to touch his father's woman was considered a crime, worse than that of beasts. It was a sin heavy enough to ruin an emperor's reputation forever. But unlike his father of steel, Li Ji was soft, sentimental, and weak. Wu Zetian, 4 years his senior, possessed a mature, powerful charisma that proved fatal to him. She wrote a passionate love poem titled "The Fair Lady" on an old skirt Li Ju had once given her, and smuggled it to him. When the emperor saw this old token of love, he wept recalling their affair. However, Li Ju was too cowardly to openly defy the ethical laws and bring her back. In 651 AD, Empress Wang, Li Ji's wife, made a fatal error. To fight a rival concubine named Xiao, she actively invited Wu Zetian back to the palace, thinking she could control this nun like a puppet. Little did she know, she had just opened the gates of hell. Wu Zetian knew clearly. To avoid being discarded like trash again, she had to climb to the supreme position. She had to become Empress. The darkest page of history turns here. Wu gave birth to a lovely daughter. Empress Wang visited to play with the baby. Moments after she left, Wu Zetian entered the room and personally strangled her own newborn daughter. When the emperor arrived, he found the baby cold and lifeless. Wu Zetian wept uncontrollably, blaming the empress. Anger overcame reason. This cold-blooded sacrifice completely crushed Empress Wang. Wu Zetian not only deposed the empress and her rival consort Xiao, but ordered a horrific punishment. She cut off their hands and feet and threw their living torsos into giant wine vats, leaving them to die a slow, agonizing death soaked in alcohol. Before dying, consort Xiao cursed, "I will become a cat after death and bite out your throat every day." This became Wu Zetian's lifelong nightmare. She banned cats from the palace forever, terrified that every cat she saw was a vengeful spirit coming to claim her life. From that day on, the harem had no more rivals. Having swept the harem clean of her rivals, Wu Zetian realized that the real war had just begun. She was no longer facing jealous women, but a massive, entrenched bureaucratic machine composed entirely of male aristocrats. At this time, Emperor Li Ji suffered from a debilitating condition. Frequent dizziness and blindness often rendered him unable to even read state reports. Thus, an unprecedented spectacle appeared. The two sovereigns ruling together. Li Ji sat on the dragon throne. Behind him hung a thick, shimmering curtain of pearls. And Wu Zetian? She sat quietly behind that curtain. From the shadows, effectively invisible yet omnipresent, she ruled this vast empire for over 20 years. However, the aristocratic ministers obeyed her on the surface, but defied her in secret. They treated her orders like waste paper. Seeing this, she made a ruthless decision. She would replace the blood of the entire government. She perfected the civil service exam system. She sent a revolutionary invitation to commoners. No matter how humble or poor your background, if you have talent and pass the exam, you can become a government official. These newly elevated men owed their entire destinies to her, and as a result, they were loyal to her alone. She then did something even more shocking. In the laundry rooms of the imperial slaves, she discovered a 14-year-old girl named Shangguan Wanner. Her grandfather was a former prime minister whom Wu Zetian herself had executed. By the laws of the time, they should have been sworn enemies. But when Wu Zetian discovered that this enemy's granddaughter possessed brilliant literary talent, she did not cut the weeds at the root. Instead, she kept the girl close, effectively making her the empire's female prime minister. It was a terrifying display of confidence. "Even if you are the descendant of my enemy, I dare to put the pen of power in your hand." And Shangguan Wanner? Instead of revenge, she was completely won over by Wu Zetian's vision. She became the Empress's sharpest pen. Wu Zetian was declaring war on the arrogant aristocracy. Ability is the new currency of this empire. Having cleared the obstacles, Wu Zetian presented the famous 12 proposals to enrich the state. She even personally authored an agricultural manual titled The Record of the People's Livelihood, distributing it to every magistrate to teach farmers better techniques. She ordered a reduction in taxes for the struggling farmers and slashed the extravagant spending of the royal family. These policies made the peasants feel, for the first time, that the woman sitting behind the pearl curtain seemed to care more about their lives. The Tang dynasty did not collapse. Instead, it entered a comprehensive golden age. The empire's borders expanded infinitely westward, piercing deep into the heart of Central Asia. The Silk Road became the world's busiest golden artery. Chang'an became the center of the globe, where 10,000 nations came to pay tribute. She was not just the emperor's wife, she was effectively the chief executive officer of this super empire. History has proven that she was perfectly capable of steering this giant ship alone, and she steered it more steadily than any man before her.